What's up, guys? Welcome back to Daniel Talks Football right here on YouTube. I am Daniel and we are back with another video. This weekend in the Premier League was a very eventful weekend, with Arsenal beating Spurs 3-1 and City beating United 6-3. While also Wolves decided to part company with Bruno Lage. Because of these three fairly big events, I decided that I wanted to just do a video to sit down, talk about it. Bit of a chilled out video. You know, it's Sunday night as I'm recording this. You're hearing this Monday, so literally, in a day's time. And I just wanted to hop on here and just sort of talk about it. We know that there's videos, obviously, at the moment instead of podcasts. So I felt like, you know what, I could come on here and I could just speak to you about what's gone on this weekend and my thoughts on all of it. And we will start with Arsenal 3, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Now, this was a massive win for Arsenal at the Emirates and did stamp their authority on the league. Obviously, the only other big in inverted commas, the only other big game that Arsenal have had to play so far this season is against Manchester United, and they lost that game. To come into this game, many people thought, well, the only big test they've got, they've lost. And for a lot of people, that was why people weren't tipping Arsenal to go and win the league. Do I think they'll win the league? No. But this was still a very convincing performance. Thomas Partey opened the scoring for Arsenal in the 20th before Kane, who else, netted a penalty for Spurs in the 31st. Jesus then came back just after half-time in the 49th to score, before Emerson got sent off for Spurs in the 62nd, and then Xhaka compounded the misery in the 67th to make it 3-1 to Arsenal. The key talking points of this is Gabriel Jesus. He is just on fire. There's no other way to put it. Jesus has had a brilliant start to his Arsenal career, scoring 5 goals and getting 3 assists in his 8 games for the club so far. The one big thing the two big things I want to talk about for Arsenal. We'll start with the more tactical one. It's that double pivot that they've got in the midfield of Xhaka and Partey. Now, I don't think I was alone in the summer when I said that Arsenal needed a new midfielder. In fact, there's going to be a video coming out either this week or next week or the week. At some point, I've got it scripted. There's going to be a video coming out where I'm recommending a transfer for each side. And actually, the transfer I do recommend is a midfielder for Arsenal, just because I feel like this double pivot of Partey and Xhaka isn't sustainable, because one of them will get injured. However, when they are playing together, they are doing very well. Both obviously scored in this game, but if you just look at how they managed to manipulate the play, it's just excellent from the two lads. And for big games like this, it allows Arsenal to set up with a really strong 4-2-3-1, like they did in this game, to give those attacking players in Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard and Jesus the freedom to go forward and attack and not have to worry about any defensive duties. These lads are such a solid rock for that Arsenal midfield, and I do think Arsenal have hit the jackpot with it. The second thing I wanted to speak about when it comes to Arsenal, we'll move on to Spurs in a second, is are they title contenders? We're going to speak about City in a second, and I think the answer to this is no. But for Arsenal to come out here, win a North London derby by 3-1, it looks very good. It looks very good for them. So, do I think they're title contenders? No. But they're looking like a very good side, and Arteta has moulded them into something very special. And I think they're going to be a side to watch out for in the next few years. If they can bring in some more depth, I think after the World Cup they'll start to fall away. However, if they can bring in some more depth in the summer, then you could be looking at this side to start pushing in future possibly. And now on to Spurs. Now, the one big thing I want to discuss with Spurs is the right wing back position. What's going on there then? What's going on with the right wing back position for Spurs? Because you've got 3 right wing backs at the club in Doherty, in Emerson and in Jed Spence. Jed Spence has played 1 Premier League game so far this season. 1. None in the Champions League. How many minutes? Does it tell me how many minutes he's got on here, actually? I'm looking at... no, it doesn't, not on here. He's barely played, basically. He's got one appearance for Spurs. And this is a player that looked like a really promising fullback for Forest last season. Why not give him a go? Emerson clearly isn't good enough. and you know what he can do. Doherty is average at best, and I can probably see getting a move sooner rather than later out of the club to go and move to... Who needs a right back? I can't say go back to Wolves, West Ham, Everton, someone like that. I know those clubs do have right backs, but someone like that. In fact, I could see West Ham to challenge Kufal. So neither of them are good enough long term. Conte didn't even want Emerson in the summer, apparently. So why not give Spencer a go? What's the harm in giving Jed Spencer a go in this Tottenham side? I don't know if Conte just doesn't like him, in which case I don't know why they brought him in. But yeah, a poor day from Spurs in general, and something that I'm sure Conte will look to move on from very, very quickly. The next game I want to speak about in what we'll call the weekend review, I don't know, is Manchester City 6, Manchester United 3. Manchester City dominated in this game, and if you're looking at that scoreline, you're like, you know what, maybe United weren't awful. City were 4-0 up at half time. City was 6-1 up in the 72nd when Foden scored. Then City made 4 changes, and United got a couple of goals back through Martial. City are just different level. I think this will be the year when City go to win the Champions League, presuming Haaland doesn't get injured, which I know is a big presumption. City are different gravy. And I look at what they're doing. It just is incredible. For City to have managed to get Haaland in, it takes them to that next level. And it could easily take them to a Champions League. He's just a robot. And I'm scared for the Prem. Because he's so good. Foden in this game was also excellent, obviously getting a hat-trick himself. But we know what City bring. What were United doing here? United went into the game with a 4-2-3-1 system. And I don't think this was right. I think City's 4-3-3, City managed to dominate the midfield. And United just couldn't get into it. This is a Man City team that had Ake and Akanji as the centre-back pairing. This is not a first-choice City side. By no means is this a first-choice City side. Diaz and Laporte were sitting on the bench. Yet this is still a side that managed to win 6-3. I look at United and I'm not quite sure where they lost the game. I think something like a 4-4-2 could have worked better for them to try and give themselves extra attacking output, but they didn't, and they went for the 4-2-3-1. Rashford up top, I didn't think had his best game. Don't think many players in the United side played great. Obviously, I know that Anthony's goal was really good, and obviously when Martial came on, he looked really, really good, and got the 2 goals, obviously. But this is a poor performance from Ten Hag. It's not his first poor performance. If anyone's saying Ten Hag out, I think it's stupid. This is the first game that Ten Hag's lost in quite a few. That Arsenal performance from United was a really good performance from the Reds. But this is a poor performance from Ten Hag's men. And I do look at it and I go, well, every once in a while you're making poor decisions. That start of the season with Brentford and Brighton, poor. This game, poor. What's going on? Why aren't things changing? Those first few games, we could give him the leeway, and he looked like he was bringing it back. But that was a poor performance, a very poor performance from United. So Ten Hag needs to go back to the drawing board, possibly get them all to run a load again, and we'll see what they come back with. But Manchester United, wow. Manchester City, wow. Purely incredible. And then last but not least, Bruno Lage. Now, Lage was sacked for Wolves after a 2-0 loss to West Ham, which left Wolves 18th in the Premier League table as of recording. Yeah, 18th in the Premier League table. They'll still be 18th by the time this goes out. And first of all, I want to talk about that decision. It's harsh. I understand it's harsh because I think he did fairly well with them last season and he made them a really good tight side and didn't concede many goals at all. I mean, if you looked at if you look at the amount of goals they've conceded less goals than Tottenham. They've conceded more. They've conceded the same amount of goals as Manchester City have. It's the attack. Scoring 3 goals is not good enough as a Premier League side in 8 games. That's just not enough. So I can see why he's gone. I really, really can. And it's a good decision to act early, I think, from that Wolves board. He made them a really defensively solid side, but going forward, he just couldn't get them to score the goals. And then that leaves them with the predicament. Well, who do they get in? Now I've got the odds from the Sky Bet odds in front of me. I'm just going to read through them, and you can see what you think. Let's just start. Pedro Martins 5-1, Ruben Amorim 5-1. Really like that one. Sergio Conceição, 5-1. Julian Lopetegui 6-1. Really like that one as well. Pablo Fonseca 7-1. Sean Dyche 8-1. Ange Postecoglou 10-1. Andre Villas-Boas 14-1. Leonardo Jardim 16-1. Favre 16-1. Benitez 16-1. Rob Edwards 16-1, which is a very weird inclusion. And then Sabri Lamouchi at 16-1 as well. Now, a couple of I just want to immediately sort of get rid of. Sabri Lamouchi, the bloke failed at Nottingham Forest. Sabri Lamouchi is not going to be somebody that looks to come to Wolves. That's just not something I can see happening. Rob Edwards has just been sacked by Watford. That does not mean that he then gets a step up to the Premier League. Somebody lower down the Championship or League One level is perfect for him. Maybe go back to Forest Green. But Rob Edwards, no. Rafa Benitez, I can't particularly see. I just don't think his football works there. And I think he's a little bit finished, in all honesty. Lucien Favre, he's got a job, I think. Yeah, he's the Nice boss, isn't he? But Nice could be sacking him, apparently. I can't particularly see that. Jardim, can't really see again. For me, Postecoglou interests me. Now, Wolves have made this transition this season to a back 4, which I'm going to put it out there. I think that's the wrong decision. Looking back on what's happened now and the start of the season that Wolves have endured, I think switching to a back 4 was a mistake. It was a big mistake. And this Celtic side do play with a back 4 though. And, you know, Postecoglou's making them look like a really solid outfit. So would he work at Wolves? Possibly. He plays the 4-3-3. Wolves have the wingers to play the 4-3-3 in the likes of Gonzalo Guedes and Pedro Neto. So that could work. If they wanted to move back to a back 3/5 though, for me it's Amorim. I know Locatelli's available and I have just mentioned him. The thing is, it's going again to the Portuguese league, and that's why I can see Amorim. I can see Amorim because you're going back to that Portuguese league, and it's a league which, as a club, Wolves know very well, and they've obviously got links to a lot of Portuguese people. So to bring in another Portuguese manager would make sense. I think Amorim's Portuguese anyway. He manages in Portugal, that'll do. He is, yeah. And Sporting have had a poor start to the season, sitting in 7th place. But they play 3 at the back. And if that's something Wolves would look to move back to, which I'm not sure if they will, but if it's something they will do, then Amorim is the option. So it depends what they want to do. Obviously, the other option that I do like, I'm not going to go through the ones I don't. There's people like Sean Dyche on here, but I'm not even really going to mention him because I just can't see it happening. It's not a Wolves appointment, is it? The other one I can see is Julian Lopetegui. His Sevilla side sits 17th in the table and play a 4-2-3-1. That's another kind of time where I look at it and I'm like, if they want to continue with this 4 at the back system, I could see Amorim possibly. I could see Lopetegui possibly. But for me, I'm appointing Amorim. If you want to stick with that three at the back, if you want to go back to the three at the back, sorry. If you want to stick with the four at the back, Postecoglou's your man. And I think either of the appointments is a good appointment. Who do I think they'll go and get? I think they'll get Amorim. He's Portuguese, he just makes sense for Wolves in general. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel down below, drop a comment, what did you think of the video, and go follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well. Daniel Talks Football. Me talking about Bruno Lage could possibly become a TikTok. So go follow us over on there. But yeah, thank you all for watching the video, and I'll catch you all again in the next one. See ya!